counting down in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome to CamTalks, Miss Gemma Gordon. How are we?
I'm really well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you very much for coming. All
Yeah.
the way up here into North London, into a warehouse.
Into the abyss.
Into the abyss, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Tell me, have you ever been in a warehouse before?
No.
Really?
Well, I must have been in a warehouse before, but I have been nowhere like this. I'm really quite impressed with how you guys just cohabit in such like a relaxed, nice environment way.
It's a bit weird.
No, I don't think it is. I think I'm surprised that like I haven't really met anyone that's done this before.
Well, it's a big growing community, like, you know, the London warehouse communities. I mean, they used to be really like reserved for artists, and I guess it was a bit more, I mean, they used to be like pennies, you know, like, oh, I have a warehouse, stick a bunch of people in it. Now they're getting a little bit more gentrified. People are like, ooh, well, people pay premium for the experience of living in a warehouse. So it's kind of going a bit upmarket a bit.
I think I would recommend this to anyone that was moving to London and knew no one.
Wow, that's actually a great idea. Yeah, move into a warehouse, get to know a load of people, and then very quickly move on.
Yeah, because people seem really friendly as well.
Super friendly. That's the number one thing here, is you can't be sad all day. And a lot of people do kind of get a little bit sad, and sometimes you kind of feel like don't want to see anyone, but you got to see people around here, because you got to go to the kitchen, you got to go to the showers, and you're just like, hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
And what are people's schedules like?
Pretty diverse. I mean, some people are like night owls. Like they go out at night, either work, you know, in events or whatever, or they party, and they'll sleep during the day. The first day I got here was actually a festival happening outside the garden, so I was like, this is nuts, and I loved it. Obviously, every second of being here, I was just like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
The next morning, I wake up and it's just like abandoned, and there's no one here, and I'm like, oh, everyone must be out already working or doing what
Gone
they
for
do.
brunch.
Yeah, no.
I definitely feel like people don't go for brunch here. Maybe that's just me.
We have a really nice little cafe around the corner. If you can kind of walk past the bullet holes on the wall, and like it's a pretty dangerous area, I'm not gonna lie.
Can we just tell people listening to the podcast what I texted you when I was on my way?
Please do, yes.
So I said to Cam, wow, what a lovely area. Doesn't even feel like London. And then I get here and you tell me that it's what? Like the top stabbing capital?
It's got a lot of gum crime. Gum crime? Yeah, chewing gum everywhere.
You know, that's the worst kind of crime.
It is. No, have you seen Top Boy, the new Netflix show?
No, I
It's
haven't.
all about London badman. So, yeah, don't let that put you off. And I would advise anyone that's going to come onto the show in the future, don't watch Top Boy before coming here.
But you just wouldn't have known at all. Like, I was like, oh, it's so peaceful and quiet. But I sometimes feel like my life, you know, Lily Allen, that music video where she's like just walking through and there's so much crap going on around her, and she just out of her eyes she just sees like flowers, and like I sometimes feel like that's my life.
Wow, okay. Well,
Yeah.
why don't you tell me a little bit more about your life, because I mean this is the first time we've met, but obviously we have mutual friends, and we've spoken many times.
Shout out Corin Silver.
Don't give him
that's
the
all you're
credit.
getting. That's all he's getting.
That's all Corin. So I know you're listening to this. So anyway, big up Corin. But give us a little summary of who you are, what you do, you know, what you stand for.
Okay.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Well, I'm 25 years young. I'm an actress and NHS recruitment consultant from London. My father is a priest and my mother quite a successful entrepreneur. They brought me up I had an amazing upbringing, a lot of integrity. They never pushed religion and stuff on me and my sisters, which is nice.
Yeah, of course.
But it definitely shaped me to the person I am today. So when I was 19, I moved to New York to go do my acting training.
Incredible. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the dream, isn't it? That's what everyone wants to do, the Big Apple.
Yeah, well, it was. And I had an incredible experience. I got an amazing training. And I graduated with a first class honours, but I also came out with an eating disorder. So a lot of the work that I do now is around mental health. So my recruitment is recruiting, you know, mental health practitioners across the UK.
Wow, much needed, hey?
Yeah, I mean, fingers crossed the NHS won't go to crap. But yeah, that's really negative for your podcast.
No, this is real talk. This is real talk.
It is. I mean, no one really knows what's going to happen. But we'll be okay, and hopefully I'll still have a job.
You came back to London to carry on your acting career, is that right?
Yeah, so I graduated and I came home. Had no money, obviously. When you just graduate, you don't. So I lived at home for a bit, and I was rehabilitated by the NHS, which is why I'm so passionate about them.
Wow.
Yeah. The care I got from them was next to nothing. Well, no, is that the right saying?
Well, I mean, it costs next to nothing.
It costs next to nothing.
But the impact and the value it had in your life is clear, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so let's bring it back to the childhood very quickly, because I know you've done some amazing other stuff, like you're a Miss Universe finalist.
Oh yeah.
Everything that we're going to talk about today, by the way, is just, it's very free flowing. You know, I really want you to just kind of just be free. You know, you're in a warehouse. You're in my bedroom right now, which is kind of
a cool warehouse.
It's the studio there. We all call it the studio. So you grew up with a father who's a priest and a mum who's an entrepreneur. Is that not the start of a joke?
Exactly. Well, her business is piano, so she is a very successful, like, private piano teacher, to be honest. But she's very, she's amazing at the way she controls her money. But she does something so creative as well. So I think my acting, which is obviously very creative, comes from her in a way, even though it's not musical, it's more physical and verbal.
I mean, your dad's a priest, though. I mean, he's a showman, right? He's got to be out there and invigorate people's emotions.
Oh, he's great. So. He's just got Instagram, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
He's got a priest on Instagram.
Yeah.
Really
go check him out, Jonathan Gordon.
Jonathan Gordon, everybody, go and give him a follow.
But he just posts photos of the cat, really.
Wow, I like it.
Yeah.
So obviously, I went to Sunday school growing up. I got kicked out, actually, unfortunately.
What?
I got really into dinosaurs at a certain time, so I kind of started reinventing the Bible stories to my friends, and I think the person running it's on my mum. I don't think he's conducive to the productivity of the class. So I kind of went the other way. But, you know, tell me a little bit about sort of growing up with a father who's a priest. How was that?
How was that?
How
was it? How was it, Gem? It was sometimes a bit intense. I mean, I was born in Stoke-on-Trent. Then we lived, I mean, next to a toilet factory. I mean, that's just where the church was. And then we moved to Manchester, and then we moved to Reading, and then we were in Southampton, and then we ended up in Berkhamsted, which is where they still are now. So it was kind of a bit like an army upbringing.
Always on the move.
Always on the move, always changing schools. I was always kind of pushed into environments where, you know, I had to make friends quick, and I had to try and have fun because we might be moving again in a couple of years or whatever. So I never really had like that like group of people that I grew up with and I still know. Like I know some of my friends, I think I get quite envious because they're like, oh, my friends from home, or they're like, oh, my school friends, and I'm like, how are you still in touch with your school friends? Do you know what I mean? But
how many schools did you go to?
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head,
I
but
lived in Manchester for 8 years, but I went to school in Southampton. So I mean that's already we both lived in the same city. It's now London, of course.
And now London, yeah.
So you must literally just go and gather friends in every city, and I mean thank God for like the internet, like Facebook.
I know.
Because like genuinely you wouldn't even have a clue what their names were anymore.
I know. I mean I don't actually have Facebook, but I do have an Instagram, and I'm a big texter. Like I like texting my friends, but I would say my best friends are my sisters.
Aww.
Yeah.
So how many siblings do you have?
2.
2 siblings.
With
2 sisters.
2 sisters.
Your dad has 3 daughters.
Yeah. Like
wow. No wonder he's a priest.
No, honestly, he's our best mate. Like he's so relaxed. He's just a genuinely good person. But actually, me and my sisters were just in Amsterdam.
Ooh,
have you ever been?
Of course I've done Amsterdam. Yeah, all the naughty stuff you get
Loved
up in Amsterdam.
Yeah, well, I really wasn't aware. I knew that was what Amsterdam was for, but actually, I'm just a big wino. Like, I just like to drink wine.
No, I like that as well. Favorite wine? Red, white?
Probably a Savvy B.
Ooh,
if it's a white, if it's a red, I like a Malbec. But then I'm also a big Prosecco fan.
I don't think I could drink red wine casually.
Really?
I feel like red wine's reserved for like a good steak, you know, or like something where a late night, like my family brought me up on wine. We're from the Channel Islands originally, so there's a lot of drinkers there. So, I've drank wine from the age of about 4, which I think most
Okay.
in that
Okay, Cam.
Only a little bit, and more importantly, it's like
I became an alcoholic. I mean, we are talking about mental health, right?
This is interesting because actually the island that I'm from is called Alderney, and Alderney is a little island. It's 3 by 2 miles long in the English Channel. There's about 1,200, 1,500 people that live there, and they call it 2,000 alcoholics clinging to a rock. That's what they call it, right?
Really?
The reality is when you get there is that everyone does drink all the time, right? But their mental health is absolutely on point. It's almost like their mind is like so positive and so energized with the community around them, their friends, what they're doing, activities, that the alcohol isn't a problem. It doesn't debilitate your ability to go out and conversate. It just helps it. So I think there is, that's the problem with drugs in general, whether it's, drink or whatever drugs you decide to take. They can have a good effect and a bad effect. So it's interesting, talking about Amsterdam, because Amsterdam is like that kind of party kind of drug. I don't know what it's just.
Yeah. I guess if you're aware of that, it is.
Yeah,
but I wasn't really like.
So
I mean,
take me to a wine bar right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was just having a great time.
Amazing.
We were staying like in a hotel like 2 miles out of the main city, so we were doing a lot of walking. But we got really good weather. Got to throw in a weather comment as we're British.
Yeah, the sky.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
And yeah, we just kind of spent the days on the bikes, walking around, and drinking wine and Coronas, and I just had the best time.
Driving? Like drink cycling?
Yeah, I guess.
That's a good idea.
Probably not, but we weren't smashed though. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's a British thing to get
Were you a
smashed.
little bit more
Like-
confident? You doing wheelies?
No, yeah. Just doing wheelies around all these tall Dutch people.
Kids. Right. Ladies,
Brits abroad.
Brits abroad. Brits are terrible abroad though. Like I have to say, like we're not the best. I mean, you and your sisters, I'm sure, looked glorious walking around Amsterdam and enjoying the culture. But then a group of lads come from next to somewhere dark, and suddenly like that's why Brits did not go on holiday.
The funniest, yes. Just stay in freaking Cornwall. But the funniest thing was, we went to visit the red light district.
Of course.
And there were some British guys like walking around like, oh, look at that one. Like, he was just like gawking at them. And I was like, oh my God, that is so embarrassing. Like, it just makes me ashamed to be British.
But at the same time, I think because our culture is very like, doodle-pip.
Yes.
Like,
golly gosh.
Gosh, look at the bosoms
My,
on the
my
bitches.
God,
Like,
is she
I don't
naked?
understand how Britain is so outrageous, like when it goes on holiday. But then when it comes back here, it's like we just complain about the weather. We complain about everyone else. We go on holiday, we're like, freedom.
I know.
We're like, look at all this culture.
Just take it to another level. You know that holiday that you always have when you finish high school?
Yes.
And you go to like
blowout.
Magaluf, or you go to like Zante. I went to Magaluf.
You go to Shagaloo, they call
So
it, right?
cringe.
Wow.
And I went with these girls I was friends with at the time, and it was just awful. Like, I would never go back there now. I don't know why we thought it was a great idea. And cheap. But it was just like, I have a really vivid memory of me and my friend walking down the beach, and she trod on like a needle or something. And, like we had to go to like this hospital, like,
no.
and it was just like, whoa, man, I don't know.
Like, what was even in that needle?
I don't know.
Oh my Christ! Wow. Well, I'm
Anyway.
sorry for your friend. That's not what you want to do when you go on holiday.
Oh, she was fine.
I thought you were going to say you like jellyfish or something. No, just a bit of crack.
No.
Heroin. That's what I'm here for.
I went surfing in Fuerteventura once.
Wow.
And one time I just went on my own. I was staying in a hostel. I just wanted to try something new. And one day this Spanish instructor was like, "So, who's afraid of jellyfish?" And I was like, "What?" I was like, what is he saying? There's a jellyfish. Like the only British person in the group.
Yeah.
I was like really scared. And then the lifeguard comes over like, yeah, there's been a sighting for man o' war. Man o' war is like the most dangerous jellyfish in the world. And the surf instructor was like, oh, it's okay. And he was like, look, if I can get in, you guys can get in. And he just dived in and was swimming out. And then he shouted back to us, look at me, I'm absolutely fine. So everyone else got in with their surfboards. And it was the first time in my life where I've froze. Like, I wanted to get in, but it's like it was an amazing physical experience. I'll always remember if I ever need to use it, like with an acting job or something. It's like I felt like this wall was like in front of me and I literally couldn't move. And it's just the human mind, right? It's just fear.
It's fight, flight, or freeze, right?
Yeah, and I froze.
Yeah.
It was mental.
What did you do? Like, would you just like
Just
couldn't
sat.
say anything?
Just sat and watched.
Oh, you sat and watched?
Yeah, I just
you
couldn't.
put your legs in, like,
No.
sat there with a ball.
I just had visions of like going under a wave and then a jellyfish just attaching itself to my
it's
face.
real though, man. I don't know why
Yeah.
locals are so bloody like chill. You know, it's like
Spanish,
you
isn't
ever
it?
meet,
It's
like
just
South
like
Africans or like Australians.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't worry about the shark, mate. It's absolutely fine. I only got bit by a little nipper. And you look at their like back with a massive gouge out. Oh, just a baby one. You're like, yeah, mate, not happening. Sorry, Gemma, killing you there. But look, you are a little bit of
You're
an
gonna kill me.
adventurer, right? You've done a few adventurous things. You know, it sounds like you've got a little something in you that just wants to go and try new things. What is it that gets you out, especially on your own? Like when you're going to go out on your own and do anything these days?
I don't know, I just like new experiences. I mean, I go to a lot of events in London on my own and I meet people there and then you either click with people and then you stay in touch and then you go to more events. Like, I think...
It almost sounds like because of your childhood moving around a lot, you're okay.
I really am just quite okay. Yeah, it's just okay, is it? No, I mean, coming back to the mental health thing, because I was so sick and then I put so much work into myself, like mentally, to recover at a young age, it kind of made me quite a strong person. Do you know what I mean? It's like, because everybody suffers with mental health at some point in their life, whether it's anxiety or depression or even like a bit of OCD or, you know, waking up just not feeling okay. Like it's almost like waking up and you've slept on your arm and it's dead. Like you notice it, right? I think there's a huge surge at the moment with mental health awareness and that makes me really excited. I mean, I'm affiliated with a charity called Centrepoint and we do work with females on the streets. It's not just a female charity, it's a young person's charity from 16 to 25. But I kind of focus more on the female side because it's just something I'm interested in, but that's probably...
No, it makes a lot of sense. I have to say, like, because I've done a little bit of work with homeless charities and it is different, you know, for men and women. Not, you know, there's no one of them that's more important, but certainly with women on the street, you've got a whole lot more problems to deal with, right? So, I mean, how do you help women compared to men? What's the kind of main differences?
So, at the moment, I'm currently working on like a short film I'm making, and it's about female time of the month on the streets, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. Whoa! Okay, back to jellyfish. No, it's how do they deal with that? That makes you feel awful as a woman anyway, right? Can you just imagine for a second being freezing, not having anything, not having the energy to go and find something? I'm a big believer in asking for help when you need it because there is always available help there. It's just a case of having the courage to ask for it and then brave enough to follow it through. But a lot of people don't know this. And my goal for the documentary, I've done a teaser, I'll send it to you. We can put it in the show notes or something.
Yeah, absolutely. We'd love to share that.
Yeah. Well, it's more like how that has an impact on your mental health. So external circumstances affecting your mental health when it's taboo, when it's the time of the month, when it's so, like, you don't even want to think about it.
It's interesting
That's
because
my
I
spin.
feel like if men had periods, we would absolutely fix this tomorrow. Like, it would be something that you'd say, okay, let's make tampons absolutely free for all. Whereas men literally don't understand the female...
the female anatomy.
Well,
Well, some do, actually.
Some do. I mean, look, I think we're all aware of it, but I think it's one of those things where, like, oh yeah, we know about that. And anyway, moving on. You know, but it is something that you've got to constantly think about. Like, I literally struggle to wake up, you know, at the same time every day, let alone try and think about the one time of the month I have to do something extra in my life. Like, that must be, I mean, we're not just talking about the menstrual cycle here, we're talking about the emotions that come with it, the extra things that come with it that men just don't quite understand.
Well, yeah, but it does apply to men as well, though. You know, we can't forget that. Like, I call it life overwhelm. Like, sometimes you just wake up and you're like, do you know what? I'm a bit overwhelmed with life right now. And like, if you don't have anyone to talk to, if you don't know what to do, it can kind of dig like a black hole in here, right? And then when it gets deeper and deeper, that's when your mental health starts to really suffer. And no one knows that you're suffering because, especially in Britain, we have a very positive attitude, which I don't want to say too much about this because I actually am a supporter of. I do think positive attitude is like one of the biggest internal cure for feeling a bit blah.
Your mind's powerful, right?
Right. Think it and then your body will follow. But like a hangover.
But is there a problem with that though? Because, you know, if you're always supposed to be bloody positive all the time,
Exactly.
there's probably the issue there where, I mean, this is something that I think we all kind of feel, especially artists, people doing what they love. It's like, just be positive and just be this all the time. When can we just say, you know what, today's not my day? You know, and I think this is maybe why the conversation of mental health is so applicable right now, because everyone realizes it's an issue. I think the statistics of, like, you know, the amount of work days lost in the UK is horrendous. Like, employers are losing billions and billions for all these different industries because people aren't able to take the time off in order to cure themselves, essentially. And then more than that, we're just not okay with talking about it. You know, and I think, you know, women are great at being able to talk about a problem. They see a problem, they talk about it, they want to fix it, right? Men, we'll just look the other way. We'll look the other way and try and talk about something else. And I think, you know, one of the statistics about, you know, suicide is that it's the biggest killer in men. You know, particularly men in construction jobs, like, so labour jobs, anything where it's like, you know, supposed to be masculine, whatever. They're just not willing to talk about it. So tell me, how has your experience kind of working with, I guess, have you worked with people in mental health issues, or are you trying to train people to deal with? Tell me a little bit more about that.
So I'm a big believer in you've got to realise how far you've come to understand how you can move forward and in a healthy mindset way. So what I do is I use my recruitment skills from my NHS recruitment. It's like, I do so much. And I help them put together CVs. So we start from like 0 and we're like, okay, what have you done? And they're like, well, you know, like, I like football. And I'm like, great. So what does that mean? You're a team player.
I like it.
You can work with people.
Yeah, skills, team play.
Skills. And, you know, you can take, if you're like, actually, I just really like listening to music. Okay, so you're a creative. What benefits of a creative do you have? And you know, I mean, I am no therapist. I'm really not. I'm like genuinely just a volunteer. But you see in their face, like, yeah, like, because you can feel so unbelievably worthless when you feel like you have absolutely nothing to offer the world. And even the most successful people can sometimes feel completely worthless because it's not balanced, because they have too much of one thing and not enough of the other, or something's missing. And I think I'm a big believer in balance.
The balance. You need to get that balance.
Yeah.
But this is tough, right? Especially when you are either in a financially poor position or you're, you know, you've got a lot of other stresses, you know, in your life. To actually look at your self-worth is, I mean, it's not even on your radar, right? I actually did made a documentary that was following the lives of 3 homeless people in Manchester.
Oh my God, you've got to send that.
Do you know what's really unfortunate about it? The entire thing was lost on a hard drive.
No.
This is crazy, right? Along with a load of other work that I just really good stuff. But what I did is I invited 3 homeless people into my home, right? I showered them, I gave them food, I got more backpacks where I would give them, wrote them CVs. So every single one of them got we sat down, wrote their CV, put it in a little waterproof bag, and I was like, go and hand that out, right? And of course, within like a day, all 3 of them come back to my house, and this time they know how to get into my apartment. So it caused them a lot of stuff. And I realise now it's not as simple as just saying, well, here's what I would do. You know, and go and do it, you know, because they haven't got a house, you know. And then when I visited the hostels were disgusting.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah.
It was like this is beyond, like, you can't even like get yourself into a good like mental state when you're around other people who are suffering in a derelict building, that, you know, drugs are everywhere, you know, crime is everywhere, and hearing their stories about, like, you know, and I guess it's similar in the sense of you look at their past, you try and say, okay, where did you go to school? Where did you do this? You realise they don't even really like understand, because it's been such a long time since someone asked them where did they go to school, what did they do, what were your jobs? They're like, I think it was in like 1980, I don't know. And you think, wow, so you've been disconnected from society, what we know as being this, like, this positive support. I mean, we look at the world and we go, yeah, everything's for us. But they very much look at the world and thinking, nothing's for me, and I have to try these things, which you're never going to even understand. So, I mean, tell me a little bit more about how you want your short film. So it's a documentary which is following the life of who exactly?
Yeah, so I want to show how Centrepoint rehabilitate people. So it's very specific. It's homeless. It's a young woman. She's got to be between the ages of 16 to 25, and she's got to want to be rehabilitated. And I just want to follow that journey, because when I was recovering, I wasn't homeless. It was completely different. But I found it really difficult to stick with what they told me to do. But the more I did it, the better I felt, the more empowered I felt. And I would have loved to kind of look back and watch, like, my self-esteem, like my self-worth and everything go back up. Because I think it really helps when you see someone else's journey. You can apply it to your life and you can think, well, I could do that. Because it's not just about being homeless. It's not just about, you know, having no money. It's sometimes you might be in high school and you might be getting A stars, and you still feel worthless because you don't know what to do with your life. Like, you're getting praise from people. Oh, well done, that was great. You must be working really hard. But like, how do you know what you want to do?
We see all the time in, like, high performers, right? You know, like, particularly actors. You know, actors who have maybe been really successful very quickly. They suddenly don't feel like anything they can do is wrong in the eyes of the public. But inside, they're not. You know, they're not happy, and everyone's telling them how happy they should be feeling because of how great they are. And you think
that's people projecting their own unhappiness on them, because they're thinking, if I had that, I'd be happy.
Interesting. Yeah, the grass is always greener, right?
Always.
I mean, so as an actor yourself, like,
yeah,
you know, how do you kind of deal with your own kind of mental health, knowing that there's a lot of rejection, right? There's a lot of times that you try really hard for something and then you don't get it.
Yeah.
What keeps you going?
Doing other things, to be honest. Filling my creative cup up with, whether it's Miss Universe Great Britain, which I just did, or, you know, doing the work with the documentary at Centrepoint, or getting stuck in to, you know, my job, which I actually really love, and networking and talking to people, asking what other people are doing, being interested, watching stuff, and then more, because trust me, my God, like, it's no. And as an actor, you never really know why. You never really know when you go in and you're seen for Colgate, you know, and you don't get it, and you're like,
not white enough.
You're like, well, yeah, maybe I should have paid an extra, you know, $5,000 to get that tooth fixed. But then I've learned to just let it go.
Let it all go.
Just let it go.
Right, so you let go of one thing, but you pick up another quite quick.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
I get bored very easily. So I like to be busy. I like to have a million things on. And I know eventually I'll find my niche and give 100% to that. But right now, I guess I'm still working it out.
I like that. So, I mean, that's kind of contrary to what you're kind of told in school and how you're brought up. It's like, you know, work really hard at something. It's like, shouldn't it be work really hard at a lot of things and see which one sticks? You know, I think that's always been, for me personally, I've always done a load of different things in my life and always wanted to be someone different. And my parents have been incredibly supportive of that. So there's never been a time that I've thought, oh, I should just go get a job doing that, because I know I'm still in the experimental phase. I don't think a lot of kids get that ability to be that free. So whatever they feel when they're growing up, like, oh, I just got a job in I'm a waiter. So 10 years later, I'm still a waiter. So how am I supposed to now go and become an actor or become whatever you know? So it's like, I feel like a lot of these things start at a very, very young age. You know, and it's like, well, how do you at the age, your 20s or 30s or 40s or later, decide to just go and try different things? Because that is going to be one of the hardest things ever, is to just do.
To just do. And I mean, your original question was about acting. We're actors. We're people. So we have to have life experiences. Do you know what I mean? Otherwise, what can we show? What can we share? What can we bring to a story or a character if we're just, waiting around for the next casting to come through? In my opinion, I think if you live life, and then you can give it back in acting roles.
That's it. I mean, it's almost like the experience you gain gives you the ability to try new things.
Yeah.
So experience seeking. I mean, you're a massive experience seeker. Like, I have to say, like, it sounds like we've only known each other for a very short time, but you've built yourself out of the experiences that you've had. So you've chased certain things. I almost see it as like Tarzan. Swinging through the jungle, and you can't grab hold of the next vine until you let go of the other vine. And it really
I'll take that. Yeah.
It's a good analogy, right? That wasn't mine. Someone.
No, I like that.
I like to say I'm a bit more like a ballerina. I like to stretch out really far and then come back. Stretch out really far and then come back. And there is always for me this lull, this I call it like a 3-day. Like a hibernation, where for 3 days I literally will not do anything.
Yeah.
I'll watch films, I'll just eat takeaways, and to a lot of people that's like, oh, you're not doing anything productive, but it's like I will burn out, because I'll work for 3-4 weeks straight, and then just then take a 3-day break. I think that's probably the hardest thing, is to tell people how to work. Because everyone's like, oh, I should wake up at 6 p.m. or 6 p.m., 6 a.m. every day. I should do this, I should do that. Because everyone's always looking for someone to tell them what to do. And it's so tough, right? I mean, you've got all these books, you've got everything that you can read, but you are you.
It's really interesting that you say that, Cam, because when you're on Instagram and then things that you've been looking at pop up, well, I love to follow motivational stuff, wellness, Yeah, I like that. That's kind of what I like to look through. If I'm going to be on my phone, I like to see positive stuff. But this, I won't say the name or anything because, some people might love it. But it was basically you need to wake up before 5 a.m. and you need to work out and you need to plan your day and you need to do this and you need to do that. And I was like, God, that's pretty intense. What if you just want to wake up at 9? There's nothing wrong with that. And it was almost I looked into it further just because I was interested from a mental health perspective. And all of the comments on this guy's photos were like, oh, I feel really bad because I didn't wake up at 5 a.m. today, or I didn't get my workout in. And I'm like, oh my God, stop. That is so damaging. Just because you think that your life is going to be better because that's what he's selling if you wake up at 5 a.m. when actually I'm reading through your comments and you just seem really stressed out and bad about yourself. And from a mental health perspective, that is so damaging.
That's tough, isn't it? It almost seems like there's way more nuance in life than people. I don't think our language is geared up to really explain how life is. Our language is black and white. It's on, off. It's analog. We have to do that in order to communicate. But that's a real problem in the age of social media, where we're trying to communicate en masse to so many people, and it's we can't possibly speak to everyone, but we are speaking to everyone. Everyone has the ability to look at you, and it's I don't see an easy way around this unless we just stop giving out advice to people.
No, or just taking for people for who they are and making suggestions. Not, if you do not do this, then you will not be successful. Buy my book.
Buy my book. Buy my book. I mean,
do you see what I mean?
Maybe the book title should just be "Do Whatever You Want." Literally, just do whatever you want. And maybe this is the thing. So, there's a really good expression which is you don't expect a fish to climb a tree, but yet, we're all different animals, right? We're not just a fish. So everyone's got their own. It's like an archetype, right? In acting, it's there's acting different characters. There's different genres of films. There's differences everywhere. But yet we all come out of the same cookie-cutter schools. We all read the same bloody personal development help books. And yet we can't quite write our own book because we're too busy figuring out how we should be and not just saying to ourselves, what would I do if this was my last day on earth right now?
Exactly. Write your own book.
Or don't write a book. That's the
Write the book of your life.
Just, you know what it is? I'm going to write a book that says do what you want, and then it's just going to be blank. And it's just going to be like, it's like a diary. Like
and then maybe just a little like, hey.
Yeah. Or like suggestions. Today I will do blank space. Tomorrow I will do blank space. What I've learned today is blank space.
Yeah.
You know, people need to be able to appreciate.
Didn't learn anything, but had a great day actually.
Had a great day.
Had a coconut latte.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But look, the other thing, of course, is that you do become the sum of the 5 people you hang around with. Right? So like surrounding yourself with people, and it doesn't necessarily be positive. Like I'm a big fan of positivity, but some of the best mentors I've ever had in my life have been arseholes. I've been people that have literally dragged me through the trenches and have pushed me beyond my limits. But now looking back, I'm no longer, feeling that way. I go, damn, that was really important for me. And I think one of the biggest issues we have is to look at arseholes in society and say they're not good for me. But actually arseholes are great for you. If you can be self-aware enough to realise that just because you hang around with someone who makes you feel like shit, but you can throw away those feelings at the end of the day, actually makes you a much better person. And I think that's the nuance I'm talking about. It's like, God, don't avoid failure. Embrace it. Go and love it. Don't avoid arguments. Jesus, some of the best, the most creative people in the world have argued the toss out of everything, and they come up with the most amazing thing. So it's like you have to kind of embrace the bad as well as the good. And I think that's maybe something that I'm kind of on this path of. It can be hard, especially when you work with people and you start criticizing them in a way that's like, no, that's shit. It's like, well, tell me it's shit. I'm like, but it's shit. And I think some people are so precious in the sense that they just can't accept, other people's problems. We've all got failures. So just look at it, listen to it, and make of it whatever you want. But I do understand that comes from a place of having been in all of the failures many, many times, so I've got thick skin. Yeah. You say that to someone at the start of their journey who has no idea how to accept criticism, no idea how to accept failure, and you've suddenly become the worst person in their life. So
yeah,
good stuff.
Yeah,
good stuff.
I do have a person in my life like that actually. She's my manager in LA.
Wow.
Yeah, she is. She actually coached me through Miss Universe Great Britain. That's how, and then she took me on as an actor, and we'll see what happens. But I remember we were having one Skype meeting, and it was for the interview round where you get asked a question, right? And I had pre-planned in my head what I thought was the right thing to say. And we were going it, we were practicing, and she just went quiet, and then she was like, Gemma, believe in yourself. I was like, what? She was like, what are you talking about? And just went off on one. I was like, yes, you're so right. You are so right. I am giving them what I think they want, when actually I just need to be who I am. And it's so crazy because I never thought I'd be the person to try and give someone what they wanted, but we do it subconsciously.
Interesting.
It was just, but she was a very, very I'd almost dread speaking to her, but I knew I needed it. And I'd just put aside the fact that she didn't ask me how I was. I'd just be like, okay. And she's amazing, and I love her to bits, and we have a great relationship. But it's very much like you were just saying.
School of Hard Knocks.
Yeah, and it's good.
You've got to know what it feels like to.
Yeah.
I think I just read a book called Radical Candor. And Radical Candor is all about how, especially in companies, you have to be very straight up with what you think, because a lot of people sugarcoat things to the point where it's not helpful for that person. And in the same way, it's not helpful for a person to not feel like they're being correctly criticised. And so being candid with someone is not a skill we learn, because especially in schools, and you kind of get the sense that we have to always do the right thing, but sometimes doing the wrong thing is fun as well. Yeah. You get to fail and learn, right? Yeah. So look, Gemma, tell me about your experience with Miss Universe, because this is crazy. I have a Miss Universe finalist in my bedroom right now.
Miss Universe Great Britain.
Well, look,
the Daily Mirror.
How does that work?
No, it was awful, Cam. I released my freaking recovery story to the Daily Mirror they published it and they put Miss Universe. I was like, I haven't got there yet. This is Miss Universe Great Britain. But anyway, the difference is like every country has their final, and then there's the Miss Universe final.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, with all the planets and everything. I'm joking.
No.
You know, Pluto always like a really dark horse, and then Jupiter.
Don't really come out much. They don't.
No. But my experience of it, that was your question.
How did you get involved in it?
Well, you asked me earlier, how do I cope with not having, like, feeling like I'm not going to enough castings or auditions? Yeah. I find other things to do.
So you're like, I'll just, Miss Universe, sounds good. I'll try that.
Yeah, like, started to put the feelers out there. I was desperate to just get my teeth into something creative. And this is before I discovered Centrepoint and everything. So I hadn't really started, like, creating my own work yet. But, went along. It's quite a rigorous casting process, Miss Universe GB. I mean, there's a lot of walking up and down. There's an interview. It's fine. It's fun. And then you get selected. And if you do, you have 3 months of really hard work to prepare for this competition.
Please tell me how the hell you're supposed to compete in a competition like this. How do you... What do they ask you?
So Miss Universe Great Britain is focused on female empowerment, basically. Like, it's run by a feminist. Miss Universe is a feminist organisation. Actually, it used to be ran by, Donald Trump used to own it.
Okay.
But they don't anymore,
That's not
obviously.
Good.
Yeah. I just wanted to clear that up because a lot of people in their head are thinking, hey, isn't where Trump was perving over all the women? That is very much the old school view of pageants. It has changed so much. I mean, it's almost done like a 180. Like, it's like most things,
yeah.
It is completely different now. Pageants are more of an American thing. They're pretty new. Well, they're not new to the UK, but they're not as talked about as much. But I used Miss Universe Great Britain as a platform to get myself more work, basically. So from it, I got a huge contract with a skincare brand called C2M, who I still work with. Yeah, we were actually just shooting some stuff last weekend for the shopping channel. Yeah, there is Cam. I don't feel like it's the type of thing you'd have on in the studio.
No, we have a TV, but no, we're not going to put it up. So obviously, you got the exposure that you wanted in order to kind of get some stable work, which is great.
I just got myself opportunities from it. I was like, I'm a Miss Universe GB finalist. Can you sponsor me to do this competition? Go for dinner with them, wine and dine them a bit. Yes, we will sponsor you. And also, I came out of that with the contract. And then I also approached Centrepoint. I was like, I want to work with you.
Let's do it.
I'm a Miss Universe GB contestant. And just having a little hook, gives you a little bit of an edge. And then on with Centrepoint. And I mean, we've talked about that already. I also got a personal trainer. I was probably in peak shape. The fittest I've probably ever been.
Some of the photographs.
I mean, my abs, my God, don't have them anymore.
I know, packs for days, literally. But I'm really interested because it's like, what are the categories? I almost think this is like the Olympics, but you do everything. Every sport. What do you walk down the catwalk? Is it you walk down?
So the actual competition.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess the reason why my mind went to the prep is because 75% of the competition is the prep,
right, gotcha.
And you are judged on the prep. But
the actual story is how do you deal with this?
The actual competition.
I became amazing. What are you on about? I grew phenomenally.
Yes. I ate green juice. I did actually. I mean, I was in serious levels of health.
Wouldn't it be funny if you spoke to someone was like, I eat McDonald's every day. I smoked 100 cigarettes on a bender. They're like, right.
Yeah.
So when it came to the competition, you're being asked about how you prepared. What else?
Yeah, I mean, they don't care about how much training you put in, but you're representing. You want to be a a role model. So you want to be healthy because you're being judged on how much girls are going to look up to you and feel the need to propel themselves into the next level of their life. So the actual, it's a 3-day event, so it's pretty intense. So the first day is an empowerment day. We had this guy called Gemma coach who was amazing, really fun. Like, it's a bit kind of awkward at that point because you don't really like know the girls and things like that.
Is it kind of like, look at her over there. Oh my God, look at him. Oh, look.
I mean,
it's hers, right? It's a lot of women around.
I have a habit of finding someone with a sense of humour and then just latching onto them.
Great.
So,
At school.
yeah.
Oh, you're my best friend now.
Yeah.
Oh.
If someone's funny, I tend to just want to hang around with them.
Right, yeah.
And then it's just rehearsal. And then the actual night, you have your 3-minute interview. You have 3 minutes to tell them all the work that you've done, which is hard. I mean, I went through about probably 100 drafts of my 3-minute interview, which was basically just a speech because I was like, there's no time for them to ask me a question.
Could you give
No,
us a couple
oh
of
God.
I solemnly swear, as
World peace. Not something I stood for, actually, but obviously.
What do you stand for? I mean, obviously we've spoken a little bit about your work in mental health and obviously your upbringing. But what was the thing that you said to them?
I mean, I just told them me. I was like, this is what I do. I stand for recovery. I want to encourage people to ask for help when they need it. Break the stigma of mental health, really.
Bam.
And I was
just drop the mic.
And I was like, thanks. Yeah. No, I didn't. I was actually in a room.
So you've done your interview, and then what's the next bit?
Oh my God, this is the most ridiculous part. There's an opening dance cam, and it was so cringe.
Did you do the Macarena?
Like, no, but we were all in these dresses, and it was just cringe. Like, when you just cringe out a little? I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I like this. And then obviously you do the catwalk.
Let's move on. I want to know what else you did.
So we did a little, I think it was to a Beyonce song, or it's a Little Mix song.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, a Little Mix. Actually, everyone...
Did you swing your hips? Did you click?
Yeah, I did.
Wow, Jesus.
I clicked a lot and I swung a lot. And a lot of hair flicking.
And were they judging you on? Like,
no, well, they say no, but I reckon they were.
You should have started crumping.
And you have to like come into this huge auditorium like screaming like, yeah, it's so embarrassing.
I mean, you have experience
the stuff I do. Yes, I did ballet when I was growing up.
Perfect. So
yeah.
you could just stand there then.
No, just pirouette. No, I didn't.
That's it.
But that actually definitely helped with the walking. I mean, I'm not a model, so I had to learn how to walk, basically. Wow. Like, walk on a catwalk.
Yeah, it's so hard.
It's so hard.
Hip, pat, spin. Yeah, no, I get that. I mean, I'm not a model.
Do you?
Yeah, no. Well, you see, I grew up as a contemporary dancer. Like, so I was a contemporary dancer.
No way.
I did a bit of ballet, did break dance. So I was like full on. Like, yeah, I wanted to be like step up or like stomp the yard. I was like,
Yeah.
But like I
love step up.
Later on, I kind of just like fizzled out of that kind of phase in my life. But when you're on the floor popping those moves, and next thing you know, you see someone else popping some moves, aren't you thinking?
They're popping them better than me.
Gotta like bring it to the next level now. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's where it comes out in the walk.
Yeah.
And you like, I think there's a video, no, not a video, a photo of me on my Instagram actually, where I've just turned and I look so moody. But I wasn't, that would have changed into a smile. But it is a performance, so as an actor, it's great. I mean, it's so different, but when I first came home from New York and I was ready to like really get into acting, I toured with a Shakespeare company.
Incredible.
And Shakespeare actors, you've got to claim it, I mean, those characters were written for people to claim them.
Yeah.
So it was kind of just like that, really.
Wow.
But I didn't start doing Lady Macbeth on
So I was
stage.
thinking, do you think you could
That's
walk
my talent.
backwards as quick as you could walk forwards? Like, you ever seen anyone walk backwards really confidently?
No.
Like, I think that would be interesting.
In like 8-inch heels,
Yeah,
just like
they're like, oh my god, look at her, she's incredible.
that would be terrifying.
That would be terrifying. I would imagine that confidence. So tell me, did you ever fear the whole, well, we all know what happens sometimes, right? It's like the fall, the collapse, the bam,
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
I had sleepless
Did
nights.
you practice the fall? Because, like, let's face it, if you practice the fall, you might be able to roll it out or
No,
slide
see,
out.
I did not. I didn't even not want to think about it. I didn't want to even let that thought
Good.
overtake me. I just thought, oh my God, that might happen. And then
Erase it from the mind.
let's just practice.
Great. So then tell me, so after you've done the interview, you've done the walk and the dance, the dreaded dance. What else is there?
And then they call out the runners up and the winners and everything. So I came 7th.
7th?
Sorry, guys.
No. Do you know what? 7's good. 7's good, right? I would love to know who came first, though. Like, who was the first?
So the first, the winner was a makeup artist and a presenter from Cardiff.
Great.
No. She was a really lovely girl. Like, respect to her. I mean, she has the kind of career where she can give her life to pageants, and she can make her life the pageant.
Amazing.
I obviously couldn't do that because I'm too busy. But yeah.
Hey, you'd never recognise her on the street, would you? Because probably just put a new face on, like, this is me. This is me.
Yes.
No, but look, I mean, let's face it,
she's
like,
great.
Being judged on your personality, on your dance moves. I mean, it's
I'd never do it again.
Never do it again. But
Absolutely
you did
not.
But you did
Absolutely
it.
not.
You did it before.
I did it, and it opened up a lot of doors, like a lot.
My problem though, is that do you not think that the people watching these, the young women watching these, are having some skewed view of what is perfection and what they should be because of the fact that you all are being judged? There is a first, second, third, fourth. How many did they go up to?
I think on Wikipedia there's the top 10.
I mean, like, come on. Like, when we're putting people on pedestals, you've got to start asking yourself, like, am I part of the problem or am I part of the cure? Now, quite clearly, you are, when you're here in person, you are brilliant. Like, you will inspire me to go off and do amazing things. But as a Miss Universe, previously owned by Donald Trump, do you not feel like in some way this is kind of a detriment to young women looking up to us? Or?
I absolutely understand why you would think that. And to be honest, yeah, I think it might be. And looking back on my whole experience of being in that competition, I guess all I have to say is I wouldn't do it again. Because you can go into it with the best possible intentions and you can rinse that opportunity and get as much as you can out of it, as well as getting involved with other things like charity and, get yourself more work. However, I feel like there's something a bit crooked in the pageant world that going into it as someone who's not experienced in that world whatsoever, I had no idea.
A lot of politics.
And I would advise a young woman, if they wanted to do a pageant, to really focus on the preparation and the work and how you're growing as a person around this competition, because it is a competition, right? How are you improving? How are you bettering yourself around this competition? And then the final pageant, as it were, the stage, the show, that's just kind of like a nice ruled line to underline the opportunity.
Right? It's the end of the marathon. It's
yep.
not the marathon.
And you've got to just kind of shake it off and carry on the work, carry on being the amazing person that you've become in this preparation for the pageant, and then take it into your real life.
I love it.
That would be my advice to any girl.
So what have you kind of taken away from this? Like, what's your biggest lesson?
Oh, my biggest lesson from Miss Universe Great Britain. I definitely think it's about recognizing how far you've come to understand where you have to go or want to go. I also think another lesson would be push yourself, but in a good way. Don't be selfish. actually. Just don't do it. It's annoying and it doesn't get you anywhere. Get yourself involved with things. Do things once a day which makes you a bit nervous. And have a lot of fun.
Love it. I mean, this is the thing, is that like, there is no alternative for guys, right? There is no Mr. Is there a Mr. Universe? There probably is, right?
I think there's like a Mr. Supernational or something.
Bloody hell, we don't even get to like represent the universe anymore.
No, yeah, no, I think it's I don't know.
But in the same way, it's that's.
Cam, you don't need to do it. You've got loads going on.
Have you not seen my
you
you
are killing life. You don't need to do a pageant.
I have to say, like, I feel what you're saying here, because it's like, if I was to do a Mr. Whatever,
Mr. Universe,
I would probably go get in shape for one. I would then look at the things I could be doing to help the world too. I would then try and help myself, with the eating and stuff like that. And then I might not even turn up.
Yeah, exactly.
So, you know what's cool?
Exactly.
Thank you for giving me the goal.
I really, if any young girl is like, will somehow listen to this conversation and they're thinking about doing a pageant, I'd really remember what I just said. It is about the journey. It's basically about 3 months of making you, 20% extra in health, career, and relationships. Like, use it as a process. Don't use it as a final competition. Otherwise, you are setting yourself up for disappointment because of the politics.
Yeah.
So,
but more importantly, were there people that you saw at the pageant that were quite clearly in the wrong, like there for the wrong reasons? People who, I don't know, I wouldn't want to say like pushy parents, but like people who are like, right, let's go, just beat all those bitches. Let's trip them up. Let's kill them. Let's tear their limbs off. Like, it must get quite vicious when you're in the arena.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of parents, I know like parents can be pushy. I mean, my parents were like, Gem, like, you don't need to do this. And I was like, no, I think I'm going to do it. And they were like, okay. And my mum and sister turned up, and bless my mum, she was in like this beautiful M&S dress and she looked so nice, but she just felt so like stupid because she was like, everyone's in designer clothes. And she just felt, and that made me angry. I was like, don't make my mum feel like that.
And what about your dad? Because your dad's a priest. I mean, this is like the most random story ever. Like, your dad's a priest and you're in Miss Universe. Where was he for all this?
My dad looks at the journey. He was excited about all this stuff I was doing, these opportunities that I was kind of taking and giving it my best shot. He was more excited about that. He definitely wasn't at the show. Why would he want to see people his daughter's age walking around in bikinis?
That's bad press. Bad press. You see that man over there?
He's a priest.
He's a priest. This is disgusting. Wow. No, but in all honesty, it's so motivational to see someone like yourself who just says yes to so many things. Who, I think a lot of people really consider that they have a lot of different things they can do. It seems like people say, oh, I do this, or I do that, or I do that. And it's just so refreshing. It's just someone that just wants to just try everything.
I know, and sometimes I think, maybe I should just focus on one thing. But I've realised from looking back, everything I'm doing connects to each other so strongly that if I took something out right now, it would almost be like cutting off a limb. Like, everything I'm doing, and I notice this when I'm journaling and stuff, everything I do, I've kind of, it all in some crazy Gemma's life way, works together. And I'm excited to see where it's going to go.
It's a beautiful mess.
Yeah, it's a beautiful mess.
Very beautiful mess. So tell me, obviously, Miss Universe, absolute, massive experience for you. What's the next big challenge you're going to steamroll over?
Well, I have been nominated for a Mental Health Awareness Award.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah, with the Root of It Awards. So that's going to be a huge award ceremony. We've got Gary Lineker involved. Lots of
Quavers? Oh, no.
Monster Munch. You just have like Tourette's and you just start shouting Chris.
I think I would love to get someone with Tourette's on this show, actually. I've always wanted to know, actually, where it all comes from.
I love it. One thing about me, I have a very British, dry sense of humour. Like, the more offensive, the more I kind of find it funny.
It's like, this is what you should have done at Miss Universe.
Yeah.
You should have just gone completely yourself.
Yeah.
And just crawled down that catwalk.
And just got up there and been like, all right, wankers,
let's
let's go.
start flashing them. Woo, you know, go, let's on tour. So no, obviously, so the mental health. So what's the actual? Is it a competition? This isn't a competition.
No.
No competition.
Give me a break.
Tell me what's the best thing you've ever done for someone's mental health. So the mental health awareness award, that's incredible.
Yeah. So thanks.
That's amazing.
I was going to post some information about it on my Instagram actually, because it's completely open to the public, but then it also has like high flying celebrities involved as well, because obviously they have the opportunity to reach loads of people. It's all about breaking the stigma. It's going to be a fun night. It's going to be fancy. It's going to be, celebrating a change.
I like it.
And change in society.
Mr. himself.
Yes.
Mr. Walker's, Quavers.
Yeah.
Maltesers. He is, he must be a great advocate for men's mental health, especially because, it's all laddish, right? He's like a football man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the thing.
He's a beautiful man.
He's
a very beautiful man, yeah.
Every time I see him on TV,
I bet he got that Colgate commercial.
He doesn't eat Walker crisps, but he's joking me. Like, I bet he gets sent loads of crisps every year, but he's just like, give them away, please.
Yeah, exactly.
We used to get pogs. Remember pogs?
What are pogs?
They're the little things they used to put inside crisps. They're like little you get them like Monster Munch and stuff, and you used to like put them together. And toys.
Oh, cool.
In crisps and in cereals, they're just not a thing anymore.
No, it's all the environment, isn't it? Like McDonald's have stopped making toys in their Happy Meals because they're made out of plastic.
That is one of the saddest things I think I've heard all day.
Really sorry, Cam.
No, it's okay. I'll just. What the hell is going on?
What else is going on with plastic?
The straws, the McDonald's straws, we all know that they're not straws anymore, are they? They're just like those pieces of paper. Yeah.
And then like sometimes when I order a gin and tonic, I'm like, I want a straw, and they're like, we don't do straws here. I'm like, okay.
It's sad. But look, this is another big
off track.
Thing, right? Because how are you with the environment? Do you like it? Do you like the environment, or do you not like it?
Once I did actually a bungee jump and raised £350 for an environmental charity.
Oh my God! Is there no limit to what you do for the good of others and yourself?
I love animals, I must say.
Whoa, stop! There's a big difference between animals and the environment.
Oh yeah, true.
A leaf doesn't require the same things as an abandoned dog. So, like,
no.
I think this is...
I'd probably try and help the dog.
Exactly. No, that's actually... If you ever want to go and help some dogs, I'm down. Not that humans aren't just as valuable, but, like, I'd love to help some puppies...
I know.
...in baskets. Like,
I know. They're too much. They're too cute.
They're too much, aren't they? But this is the thing. So, like, the big topic right now is the environment. It is being more sustainable, being more kind of friendly towards... nature.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? You're not a spokesperson for the environment.
To be honest, no. I mean,
fuck the environment. I hate that thing.
I understand. I appreciate that it's obviously a big thing, and I appreciate and understand, but I don't understand fully what's going on. But who's that girl, Greta?
She's so sweet.
She was the one that actually made me stop and think about it. No one else.
I love that face. So for everyone else, they always make a thumbnail like the smiley face with Greta. It's like let's get the most ugly photo we can.
I know.
Going,
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, poor girl, she's being punched right now. Oh no, she's not. She's just angry about
she's like this amazing alien that just appeared from nowhere, and it's just.
She's brilliant.
She's amazing.
Yeah, stop hating on a bloody child, everybody.
Yeah. Oh no. Do people hate on her?
Yeah. Well, look, this is maybe
what?
Look, we're all part of different silos of attention these days. So you get served the inspirational, the great stuff. Me not so much. I kind of go down the whole like controversial. I spend more time engaging with people that are controversial, even if I'm trying to defend something that I believe is right or wrong. I still get to see more of this stuff. That's the way that the echo chamber of Facebook works. But I see a lot of hate for this little girl. I actually see a lot of pictures comparing her to like Nazi kids. What was that? The Hitler Youth, and all this kind of shit comes up on my timeline of this girl who's trying to represent a particular issue, being like, yeah, well, you still drive a car places. She got a boat, right, to America when she went and did her speech. And this boat, as far as I'm aware, is a zero emissions, beautiful boat. And Jeremy Clarkson, the probably the most right-wing, manly man, said, yeah, but she still had a backup diesel engine, didn't she? Didn't tell you about that, did she? And you're like, dude.
There's something really disgusting about a full-grown man finding a problem with something good.
Yeah.
There's something really disgusting about it.
Yeah.
I don't know, it makes me feel a bit like, oh.
But we do live in that age, right?
We do live in that age, and I guess, arguments and controversy are what gets things going, gets the world changing. But Greta, what a babe. I'm sorry, but I want to be her friend.
Greta's going to be well, she's going to be well. She'll be well.
Yeah.
She'll be well good.
Yeah.
The environment might not be, but she'll be well good.
Yeah.
She'll
probably get to retire at 17.
Do you know what? I don't even think she wants to retire. Because
No.
This is the point. It's like you find people who have, and look, regardless of how she figured out the environment was her thing.
I'd love to know.
She is now the champion of the environment. The biggest problem people have is actually finding, causes have been around, whatever you care about, go for it. Who's the face of homelessness? No one. Who's the face of the environment? Greta. Great. We need to put faces to causes in order to care about them enough.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing.
Yes.
I really think it is.
Do you reckon her parents are just like, wow, we created that?
We created a monster.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. No, I'd be super chuffed if that was my kid.
You'd be so proud.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I mean. Do you reckon they just think, wow,
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what it is? It's
we did that.
it's easy for someone like Greta to build this momentum because so many other people have been waiting for her. They've been waiting for their champion to come and step into the arena. And this is the point about champions. It's we won't be able to identify or recognize a cause without a champion, without someone's face to put to it. And God help me, I love Attenborough, but he was way too old to represent the environment. And now Greta's come along. It's brilliant.
Yes.
She'll be here way past Jeremy Clarkson.
We've got a good 70 years
way
of Greta.
Past Trump goes to hell. She's going to be there, when we're old.
What is Trump's opinion of her and Boris?
He hates her so much. All of them. All of these right-wing, I wouldn't even say anti-environmentalists, but there's people now who are oh, we don't believe in climate change because the earth is always going to be getting warmer and blah, 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 blah. It's God, the world is so much more complicated than the way you're trying to make out to it. And the problem is, for every piece of shit that comes out their mouth, there's a million people that will go and regurgitate that shit. And that's the issue, is that, it plays into their agenda, what they want. Someone like Greta, the fact she's even coming to the defense of what these people are saying about her, I'm a bit like, come on, Greta, love. Come on. Ignore the bullies. Ignore the bullies.
Come to Uncle Cam.
Greta, if you're watching this, come on to CamTalks.
Yes.
Because, in all honesty, we're about the complicated.
Yeah.
I love talking about complicated issues because I'm a massive left-right lefty. I am not politically inclined for any one party. I joined the Labour Party because I love Jeremy Corbyn. I was like, he's like your grandfather. The wise old man, almost like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. He's not going to actually kill Darth Vader, but he might train the person that goes and kills Darth Vader. So you've got to appreciate that everyone has their own little something special to bring to the world. But this is all you can ever possibly do, is to bring awareness to something. You can't change the world by yourself.
No.
But if you are inclined to tell people about climate change and it's not people like Greta that are going to have the solution for climate change. It's not people like Extinction Rebellion sitting on bridges and locking down London that's going to have the solutions. But somewhere out there are going to be very clever people who want to actually solve a problem that they see on a wider basis. So, there's companies now that are trying to turn, the most ridiculously, processed rubbish into something good for the world. There's companies who are trying innovative things because they see the problem statement exists. They're like, here's the statement, the environment's going to hell. Why is it a big thing? Oh, because people care about it. So I'm going to come up with a solution and fix that. And so that's just...
So interesting. Is it?
Hakuna Matata.
Yeah, that means no worries. Does it? But that food waste thing that you're seeing on the tube. I can't remember the name of the app, but Olio.
I know the Olio guys.
Did you?
Yeah,
But that is a big issue, and until I read that ad, just waiting for the Northern Line, I didn't realise it was an issue, and then I was like, oh my god, that is an issue. Oh great, they're fixing that issue. or they're doing something about it.
The guys at Olio, and I say the guys.
What are they like?
They're fantastic. So the two co-founders, they're ladies who really care about basically not wasting food, because the interesting thing about Olio is that it allows you to take a picture of whatever you have left over in your fridge or your cupboard, and someone in the surrounding area can come and take it off you. So it's amazing for companies that don't want to have wastage. It's amazing for people like us, in an area where there is a lot of poverty. Like, I bet you, around here, I think if you use the Olio app, there's around 75,000 products
Really?
you pick up within about 10-mile radius. You go somewhere where maybe it's more affluent, you're probably not going to get so many people wanting to take part in this. So, but it's allowing people who are on, low income, they've got like large families to feed, like they're able to now get by better, whilst allowing the people who do have to throw away stuff something to throw away. Now, what I do know is that Olio's got a very ambitious goal of getting 1 billion Olios users on their app.
Right.
Now, that
so
would be what, like 1/7 of the world, 1/8 of the world using it?
That's incredible.
That's a very
and I
ambitious
reckon
goal.
they'll get there, though.
I think they absolutely will, because we're so much more aware these days, aren't we?
Yeah. So anyone listening can go and download the app.
download
I'm
the
going to go
app.
do it on the tube.
Well, no, do it, because actually, if you're walking back from here, you might even go pick up a sandwich
Yeah.
from someone's house.
Thanks,
Actually,
Margaret.
Cheers, Maggie. But then I guess the other question is, like, what happens to that food? Is it good food?
Well, I guess that's the thing. But things like bananas or apples or, bread or something that is
I'm
not...
a massive fussy eater. Like, honestly, like,
Are you?
if
So
someone
what
gave me a sandwich, I'd be like, can you take out the mayo? Or like the
Really?
Yeah,
What
so-
kind of thing do you eat? What's your
So
thing?
I'm really bad at eating anything good for me. So I hate
Really?
salad. I hate anything that's got like dressing on it. Or the fact that a salad is cold is already a problem. Do you know what I mean?
So you like hot food?
hot food. I like meat. I like potatoes. I like. I think I just like chicken nuggets, chips, and beans.
Yeah. Oh, that is so cute.
That's kind of what I was brought up on.
Oh, but isn't that just the best? Or like fish fingers, or like a jacket potato with beans and cheese.
Yeah.
Or just, There should be more of that. Whole Foods.
They should. I think I'm probably part of. I'm not like one of those people that is easily marketed towards with food, because if I could eat a pill every day that just like gave me everything, I would.
That's so interesting. So you're not bothered about eating, really?
No, I just eat to live. I don't live to eat.
So when you go to a restaurant, what do you order?
Sometimes it's bespoke. I'll just say to them what I want and hope that they're ready.
Can I please have bird's eye fish fingers?
Yeah, no, honestly, it can get as bad as that. It can, yeah. And sometimes when you go to like an Italian restaurant or like a French restaurant, you're like, do you do pasta?
Does your girlfriend mind? Is she like, oh, for God's sake, Cam, just order something like interesting?
So I'm so thankful. My girlfriend is so lenient on me, honestly.
Is she?
Because she eats everything. She loves eating salad. Beetroot salads are like one of her favourite dishes, and I just won't even kiss her if like she's
Really?
It's too fresh. She's amazing, right? and she lets me kind of get away with murder. And I actually stopped letting her cook when we started getting together, which is bad.
Yeah.
Because I was just so afraid of what she'd cook for me. But I'm getting better. Partly because my first trip to Switzerland to see her father.
Right, that was the other week. How did it go?
Yeah, it was interesting. So I was really nervous. Pretty much on the way there, I was always saying to her, like, so what does your dad eat?
Aww.
So she texted her dad saying, Dad, what are we having for dinner tonight? And he was like, I don't know, we'll experiment. I was like, shit, great.
Sprouts.
We get to his house, and he basically brings out all these vegetables. Brilliant. Fucking ace. It's just vegetables. And thankfully, out of nowhere came a chili con carne.
Oh my God,
like, yes.
winner.
But I did have to tell him at some stage over the trip that I wasn't a fan of salad or vegetables.
Yeah.
He goes, well, we have something for that. I'm like, really? You're not going to make me eat salad? He's like, no. And long story short, he's an inventor, right? He's invented a type of therapy called vibration therapy, right? Now, this is anyone listening to this right now, you're getting an exclusive. This is a company that's just been funded with $3 million, pounds, whatever.
Oh my God.
And what they do is they do vibration therapy. Vibration therapy is you lay down on the table. Bed.
Sounds kind of sexual.
It's a little bit weird. It feels a bit weird. So you lie in a bed and you have all these speakers surrounding you, and they basically just project this low frequency through your body. So it's like, and you feel it in your body. You almost feel your body like feeling like vibrating. And whilst you're going through this like half an hour to an hour sort of treatment, you've got your eyes closed, you've got a therapist sat there talking to you and asking you to visualize. And for me, he said to me, like, we're going to make you eat salad. I'm like, fucking brilliant. You could have maybe done something else, but like, you know.
Did it work?
Well, I went through 2 treatments. I visualized salad in a way I've never even considered it before.
Visualized salad.
It got turned into something that was healthy for me. So so the therapist literally says to me, okay, I want you to imagine what the colour of this is. And I'm like, oh, it's obviously green. I want you to imagine what the shape of salad is. Oh, it's obviously a triangle, because that's a warning sign to me. And where in that in your body is this triangle? I'm like, well, it's in my mouth, because that's where all the bad shit happens, right? And then she says, okay, I want you to now imagine that you're going to swallow that that shape. And I'm like, oh shit, you know. And now I want you to imagine that it turns into an orb in your stomach, and that orb is projecting positive energy throughout your body. And I'm like, this is great, whilst being like vibrated really quickly. And then she asks you these questions about, why is it you don't like salad? You know, where is it this came from? And I just burst into tears. I absolutely just started crying.
Oh my God.
Mad. Because she dug up some shit, man. She was like, well, look, why don't you like salad? And I had, half an hour into this treatment, I was like, my sister forced me to eat it. And she's like, good, tell me more. What did she force you to eat? I'm like, she made me eat salad. And like, this fucking shit. I was just like, this is crazy stuff. And of course, the best thing about all this is that I made a vlog about it.
Oh, wow.
I set up a camera and I filmed it, and I'm the first person to ever film this treatment.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is game-changing stuff. So I will be releasing this vlog.
Yeah, you must.
For sure. I mean, it's just something you have to go and check out. It's, the company itself is called Bioscope. So the real secret to this, because vibration therapy has been around for a long time, right? You can kind of put vibrations through your sound.
And are they supposed to make your nerves more receptive, or?
Interesting enough, like, can you imagine what happens when you shake something, right? When you shake a tree, the leaves fall off, right? So now imagine that you're having vibrations going through your arteries. It's shaking off all the bad stuff. So all of that bad stuff, the grease that is clogging up your arteries, is shaking off. And they've had 2 heart attacks. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but like, generally, the people who have gone through this treatment, who have had pacemakers put in, have suffered because of the amount of grease that's clogged up in their pacemaker, because genuinely it's all just kind of fallen off their arteries and got caught up in the place where their pacemaker is. Now, for me and you, it would exit the body through urine, and then great, we've cleaned our arteries. So this is like game-changing
oh my
stuff.
gosh.
Like, they're going to literally be changing the lives of high-performance athletes, people with heart disease. I mean, it's nuts, right? And I didn't even know that this is what my girlfriend's dad did.
How did you, just went to Switzerland and came back with a new set of arteries. I mean, how did you feel after?
I felt great. I felt amazing. And of course I said to her, I was like, I'm going to go try a salad now. And I was like, no, don't force yourself to eat a salad, because you will undo the good stuff that we've done. The next time salad is on offer, give it a go. So that's all part of the vlog that I'll be bringing out soon, about me trying to eat a salad.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Madness, right? But that was a really weird experience for me, meeting my girlfriend's dad for the first time. He literally brought me into a bunker. Like, this thing's in like a little bunker.
Do you think he was like going to kill you or something?
I thought it was nuts at first. To be honest, I thought it was a nutty professor. I was like, great, it's Practicus Potts. It's, guys who like put me through this weird machine. But after hearing about the science, seeing it work in real life, because the real secret source to this whole entire thing is a device that they've invented called the Bioscope that actually reads electromagnetic pulses. So your body right now, everything has an electromagnetic reading to it. And so he first showed me how this worked by giving me a cup. And he gave me this cup, and the cup has a wire in it going to a computer. And he says, all right, hold the cup. And he programs my name and says, Cam. And then he says, right, now give the cup to Nina. So I gave the cup to my girlfriend, and it said, Nina. And he said, right, now put it on the ground. And this thing could basically measure every living being, everything. So in terms of the future of biometrics, that Apple love Face ID and the touch and stuff, the next phase of that will be literally your electromagnetic reading. So this device, it sits under the bed that you lie on, and it's able to measure your energy levels whilst getting vibration therapy. So the vibration therapy hits you in a place that you need adjusting. So if you've like hurt your ankle, they'll focus it on your ankle. If, for my case, it was eating salad, they're focusing around my throat. And so then by measuring my electromagnetic pulse and all my readings, they're able to look at the differences, and they've gone, it's amazing how this technology works. Like, I don't actually know how it works. Like, it's not pseudoscience, it's real stuff. But it's so new that it's like, you just got to try it. You've got to try it. So this is it. Maybe the next time you're looking into, particularly mental health, right? Because it's like a lot of people will try all sorts of biohacking techniques to figure out what they can do next. And vibration therapy is something that I'd honestly tell anyone listening to go and check it out now.
Yeah.
It's called the Bioscope.
I can't wait to see your video.
It's going to be great. I can't remember the first person in the world to film it as well.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
good.
It's great. It's great.
It's good to be number one.
It's good to be number one. But we'll see, because this is the thing. I'm now in a stage in my life where I'm trying to do vlogs full time. Like, I would love to make vlogs full time. I really, really would. But it's tough, right?
Yeah.
Having the money to go and do these things is really important, which is why this exists. CamTalks. This for me is a really good way of meeting new people, gaining new clients, so I can fund my passion projects, which is kind of the main thing. So obviously the film, the documentary that you're making about mental health is so in line with what I'm currently doing. I actually have a short film that I've written in collaboration with a friend of mine called Sunrise. And Sunrise is a narrative film which is about a young woman who tragically decides to end her own life. And as she's stood on the edge of a platform, she gets a phone call from a stranger, a con man that phones her up and says, "Have you been involved in an accident recently? It wasn't your fault." And she says, "I'm about to be." And they have this beautiful conversation where this stranger recognises the fact that she's in just complete danger and tries to bring her back from the edge.
Oh my God, that's lovely.
It's a lovely, lovely story, and I can't wait to kind of get it made, because it really comes from a place of, realism. Like, I've experienced my own sort of depression in ways that I couldn't even say was near what people who are really going through something is anything like. And I think that's the thing, the scale and spectrum of mental health is so vast that just because you can't associate yourself with someone who is on the street doesn't mean that you don't in some way have those issues. So it all comes from a place of wanting to spread the message, like yourself. And I think that making films about this kind of thing is so fulfilling.
It's fulfilling, and it's also important. I mean, when I was at my worst, I woke up like on my 21st birthday in Watford General Hospital.
Wow.
Like, there is no way. I was like, do you know what? Like, the only way is up. The only way is up.
I love that though. So tell me, so after your own experience, and obviously being hospitalised, that's way beyond I've ever felt, and I think most people who have problems. I say problems. Let's not call them problems. The
experiences
that you have in your own wellness never really go to that point. Well, for most of us, let's say, what was it that got you hospitalised? What was it that actually kind of resulted in you waking up on your birthday in the hospital?
I would say the eating disorder had just got me, and it was gonna kill me without sounding too deep. It was gonna kill me.
What was the problem? Did you want eating?
Yeah, so I had like orthorexia and anorexia, so my kind of eating day would depend on how many steps I was logging on my phone. It would be, running 3 miles on the treadmill and then walking from Brooklyn to West 19th, which is another 3 miles, and then having like a grape or like a black coffee, and then I was getting kicks out of doing what the anorexia was telling me to do. Like, it was, if I felt good about myself if I could get through like just an extra hour of being so hungry. I'd feel great. I'd feel powerful. And unfortunately, I was in the wrong environment. I was in the wrong environment for it to get better. I was in the best environment for it to get worse. Drama school, New York, modeling agencies in the building, everything. Gem, you look great. Like, what are you doing? Or no one once said, oh my God, like, do you need any help? Because I was just gagging for it. I was dying for someone to just save me. And when I obviously came back to the UK, the NHS did, and we take it very seriously. And I'm very proud, to be British. We do take mental health really seriously here. And it's becoming less of a stigma. But, that's led me to do the work that I do. But yeah, no, there is.
It's incredible because obviously I don't think that. A lot of people don't ever struggle to eat. It's like if you put anything in front of me right now, not anything, but if you give me a burger right now, I'll eat it.
For me, it was never about the food. It was never about wanting to be skinny. It was purely just this thing I had in my brain which just wanted to control everything because I felt so out of control. And like the more you grip on and keep your eating disorder going and feeding it. And, you know, I see it as like a snake wrapped around your spine almost, like just telling you what to do, because it will allow you to function normally. That people will just think you're really skinny, but it will allow you to function normally, but it will just control literally everything, like relationships, everything. You can lose so much, and it's scary that these things do go unnoticed, and in some areas of the world there's not help, because anyone can get one.
When you're in trauma school, I mean, how are they dealing with this? Do they even deal with this? Do they even speak about it?
They didn't deal with it.
At all?
No.
And do you think that's changed now, or is there? I mean, what's it like for young people going to trauma school?
I would hope that it's changed. I'd hope that there'd be more like pastoral support, but it's still a stigma. So
It's as well, isn't it? Because we know that physically it's not good for you, you know, and people die of this all the time. And you think, well, but to get to that skinny size, it's crazy. I find it crazy because I'm not in that industry. But if I was in that industry, I completely see how you would, you know, get sucked into the idea that if I eat a couple of things a day but walk ridiculous, because you're literally, the energy that you're outputting is nowhere near the amount of energy that you need to input in order to even meet that criteria. So it's no wonder you're like, you know, dropping chest sizes and like you're going down. Then people going, good job. Well done.
My lowest weight was 6 stone.
Oh, bloody hell.
And I'm like 5'8.5", so I'm pretty tall.
Yeah.
And then, no, there wasn't any help. I'm just going to be blunt and honest about it. You know, I did try to think, was I just missing it? But the only thing kind of keeping me going was my roommate at the time. And, you know, my friends, and I met some of my best friends still live in New York, which is sad, but, you know, they couldn't do anything, you know, but they were there. I think that's important.
Pressures to it. I mean, I've been to New York City once when I was a kid, and I just see it as this it's like London, but more taller. And it's like, get out my way, you know, walk in here type thing. So there's this like culture around New York, right, which just kind of seeing the billboards and seeing the, you know, celebrities. Like,
it's pretty intense.
Does it feel like you want it, and therefore you have to be like that?
I don't know. Like, I think it was all coming from a subconscious place. Like, 'cause when I realised in recovery that it was never, I had a very healthy body image. I was a healthy size 10 to 12 when I went there. Like, I was, you know, I had energy. I didn't want that to change, but I felt like, I think going there quite young, I don't think I was ready for it. And I think, I mean, I used to put a lot of pressure on myself. And I think I was just putting too much pressure on myself, and it was the only way I could deal with it. Does that make sense?
And your sisters, because obviously, like, you know, were you vocal about this? Did you speak to them on the phone about these issues?
No.
So you kept
they came out for my graduation, and they were like, "Oh my God, what has happened to my daughter?"
Oh God.
Yeah, well, it was really hard for them, and I.
As well to see them like that.
Yeah. No, it's
What was it that made you take the action that you did to kind of find the help?
Something just changed. I can't explain it. I think it was waking up in hospital. Something just changed. And I remember this counsellor or something came and spoke to me. And she didn't speak to me about the eating disorder, but she just said, "Are you okay?" I didn't know her. She was from Emma Umstead, like really quite common, you know. And she was like, "Are you all right?" And that just like, I was like, thank you for asking. Because no matter how much your loved ones are like, "Don't worry, we'll be there for you. Like, we love you," you know. Sometimes it does take a stranger, I think.
I love it. And of course, as soon as you said that you're right, you're like, "Oh, I have a list here right now."
Nope. Actually, no.
But
the thing is, I know I'm aware that all this stuff can get very deep and serious, but you know, I am fully recovered now. I have been for like 2 years, and I'm healthy, you know, and I want to give back. So I think that's why I'm ready to delve back into working in mental health, because I'm ready to now, because I can appreciate it from from being on the other end.
You can empathise now, right? You know, particularly as an actor. Like, I mean, Do you ever see in auditions? Do you ever kind of see other people, or like, can you recognise someone that is going through a similar thing?
Well, nature of the industry at the moment is a lot of self-tapes, so you don't really see who you're up against. To be honest, you
so
don't.
You're not sat there in the corridors anymore.
No,
It's like
no.
everywhere.
I mean, you would be for theatre, and
Right,
you know,
yeah.
but obviously it's a very competitive industry. Like it just is. Everyone knows it. And I view every audition as kind of like a practice, like a job in itself, and then I just send it off and forget about it. Like, because I just think that's the best way to deal with it. Like I've enrolled in this course called Manuel Perot. It's called the 21-day self-tape course. Have you heard of it?
Yes, I've heard
So
of
my
it.
first one's tonight.
Oh, incredible.
So I'm going to really try my hardest to keep it up for 21 days. And people that have done it say they come out of it feeling like really like get all their creative juices flowing, like ready for roles, ready for, because you've got to keep it going, you know.
I mean, that's a real positive thing, right? You know, I mean, this is the point, right? Is that you got to fill your time with things that, I mean, everything's a habit. Everything gets addictive in some way, shape, or form. But doing the self-tapes, I mean, you know, it's been an hour and a half now, and we haven't mentioned Corin's name more than once.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Corin Silver,
I
who, you know, a good friend of ours, he's taken this to the extreme, right?
He has. I mean, like I said to you earlier, he's the most committed actor I know.
Jesus, you shouldn't have said that. Well, hopefully he's not listening to this right now. But this is the point, right? So as an actor and you're doing these self-tapes, like you're just learning, aren't you? You're just forever practicing.
Exactly. And sometimes, like, even human interactions I see as practice. Like, if you're on the bus or something and it's all quiet and everyone looks miserable, like, try and start off a conversation with someone and see where it goes, you know, because I learn a lot as an actor from other people. Like, how other people kind of listen, and you can always tell what's going on in someone's head, can't you? Like, you might get it completely wrong, but you can always sense something.
It's really interesting, right? Because I watch a lot of fight videos. You know, like if I'm feeling bad, I'll either watch shark attacks or fight videos.
I love shark attacks.
I mean, we probably shouldn't talk too much
Oh
about
my
this,
God.
But there's something about the not being there.
Yeah.
That is actually great for me. I'm like, brilliant, go get him, go get the shark, whatever. But so like sometimes when I see these fight videos, and you'll see like someone on a bus start lipping off, and you know, oh, here we go, oh, someone's about to throw a punch. I would love for someone just to stand up and start singing Frank Sinatra. I was like, that would be hilarious. Like, that would diffuse the fight. Like, what's going on? And the only person I can ever think would do that is some kind of actor or performer or something. Stop fighting everybody.
It's like laughing in a really serious argument, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's like, what?
What's going on right now? Yeah, like, what's too crazy? Oh my God, this is so crazy. I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, look, Jen, so it's amazing to kind of get you here because
I've loved it.
We're going to collaborate on many projects, not just in the acting space, but also I'd love to get involved in anything to do with the mental health space as well. As it, you know, it's something that I feel passionate about as well.
Great.
Not as passionate as you because you know, obviously the commitment that you've given to. Obviously not only in your job, but obviously in the charity what you do is just really commendable. And I really do hope that this award, you know, we forget about awards now, right? It's about taking part.
Yeah.
I think that's something.
It's about being recognised and encouraging others to do the same.
Yeah, definitely. But also let me know if old Gary Lineker needs a hand.
Yes.
Or
Stephen Fry's on board as well.
Stephen Fry.
I mean, he's huge on mental health.
Yeah. I love Stephen Fry. I mean, Harry Potter just wouldn't have been saying his audiobooks.
Yeah.
What are you reading right now? Do you read books? Or what do you do? Read books?
Actually, I've just finished working on a book. So it's kind of like a read, but also like a journal thing. My friend Angie, who's also kind of like a business coach, right? Okay. She runs a thing called the Babe Acting Blog. She runs loads of networking events. Yeah, Angela Peters. You just might. She tends to know everyone. She's brilliant.
Angela Peters. And does she run events? Is there
events? UK Actors Tweet Up. She runs. I
know Angie.
Yeah.
Yes. I met her on a plane going back from Cannes.
No.
Yeah. She was sat in front of me. And of course, so her friend Shona, casting agent, right?
Yeah. Is it Sheena Dowling?
That's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Funny enough, I met them both on a plane coming back from Cairn.
Did you?
And so I was chatting to them both about the film festival or whatever, and talking about actors and doing self-tapes and stuff like that. And anyway, next thing I know, I'm talking about Corin, right? And turns out Corin had only gone and auditioned with her.
Really?
Great. This industry is so Jesus. Everybody can't get
Very
on with it,
ancestral.
right? Yeah, it is. But Angie's great, isn't it? Because she's really doing a lot for actors in the community right
She's
now.
fantastic, and she's such fun.
She's so much fun.
We bond on how much we like wine.
Oh my
But
God.
anyway, just want to big up her book for a second in case there are any actors listening. It's called How to Create Your Own Star, which is a cute name.
Amazing.
But it's it really takes you through all the nitty-gritty specifics about money, goals, 3 top goals. And I love goals. I mean, yeah, and
bettering yourself every day.
Yeah, and this book, I would really recommend it to any actor, girl or boy. I mean, it is pink, but gender neutral.
Right.
And I found it so beneficial, so I've just done it again. So that was the second time I've done it.
So shout out to Angie then, because
Massive shout out to Angie. Yeah.
There's a lot with the acting community, and I think that's amazing to get involved. That's probably one of the things that I want to do, in the future, is kind of get more involved in.
Well, I must say, Cam, you are quite a motivational person. I can see you as kind of a life coach, or I don't know.
I actually have a coach, so I've had a personal development coach for ages.
Yeah.
And it really helps.
Yeah.
It really helps when someone can be your soundboard and bounce off you, because it takes a lot to kind of figure out where you want to go in life.
Yeah, and that's what Angie does to me, and she's a big supporter in actors. She thinks actors should be doing other things to make you a better actor.
She does a lot of things.
She does a lot. I mean, she's just shooting her own film that she's just wrote, and she's going to pop out a baby anywhen. She could have popped it out when we were speaking for this past half an hour.
Pick up the baby.
Yeah.
It won't be long before that baby becomes a star. Well, look, it's amazing. We have a lot to collaborate on in the future.
Yes.
We could talk for another 2 hours.
I know, we could.
We don't have enough water. But to be honest with you, it's been a pleasure having you here and talking about all things to do with Gemma Gordon's life. So Gemma, thank you very much for coming onto the show.
Thank
I
you.
hope you come back again.
I'd love to.
Last question.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want us to talk about in this particular podcast?
Do you know what, Cam? I think we've covered pretty much everything that I'm doing right now.
Thank you very much, Gemma Gordon. And we did have a little few moments. Acting, NHS, adventure sports, mental health, centre point.
I mean, that's kind of me, so I think we've got it.
That's it. Thanks very
High
much.
five.
Woo!
Woo!
There you go.